Yes, guys, this is the instant reaction as Newcastle draw 2-2 with West Ham down at the London Stadium. A real up and down game. We'll go through it all. First half, I'm thinking it is not our day today. 30 minutes later, we're 2-1 up. We are cruising. I'm thinking, can we get 3, 4, 5? And then all of a sudden, West Ham make a few substitutions. Comes on, scores a goal in the 89th minute, and for the last 6 minutes, I'm hoping they don't get another. To be honest, I went from losing the game to looking like it was going to be a win. Finishes in a draw. And yeah, look, it was West Ham are a decent side, and as I say, the first half looked very, very gloomy. It looked like we could well be trapped out of the game for the full 90 minutes. We hit hard in the second half. We came out with a bang. Eddie Howe had the wallpaper off the changing rooms again. And Isak, the man of the 10 minutes, gets 2 goals. And I think it's 3 points to Newcastle. And what a way to top off what has been a fantastic international break to international break, you know. And the win against PSG was out of this world. We're going down to West Ham. I'm thinking a draw down there ain't that bad. That's how I'm going into this game. I'm thinking a draw against West Ham away from home is a decent result. Being 2-1 up and then losing it, it doesn't quite feel the same. You know, if you'd offered me a draw at half time, I would have taken it. But after being 2-1 up, changing the total complexion of the game, I thought it was ours to take away. And just, you know, really both goals, slow to the ball, slow to defend, and yeah, we take the draw. So let me know your thoughts on the point down in the comments below. As I say, the first half, the lineups come out, you know, and I'm thinking, is it a Champions League hangover? Is it the squad depth isn't quite there? You know, what was it in that first half, or was it just that West Ham, you know, really took our number and just totally marked us out of the game? It had, you know, smells of kind of what happened against PSG, where we were the team who let them have the ball, but then when we had our chance, we hit them back. We had like 80% possession in the first half, but we just couldn't break through. And really, us giving them a goal in the 8th minute, which, as I say, in fairness, was a good goal for them, but for us, you know, Emerson's running through, Lascelles is slow to pick him up, Pope is kind of in no man's land. He puts a great ball back across the box, and he puts it in the net, but it totally played into West Ham's hands, because they're now 1-0 up. Thank you very much. We will now defend for the next 80 minutes of this entire game, and that's what we saw in the first half. We saw us with all of the ball, but struggling to break them down. And you look at that lineup, we only made one change in the lineup from Wednesday, which was Elliot Anderson. And it wasn't to say that I looked at that and went, oh no, you know, that we should have changed this, that, or the other. Really, you know, Gordon was out with suspension, Joe Linton's injured, you know, Wilson came on late, but really, I think he still has a bit of a knock, to be honest. He's still recovering over that. As I say, like Joe Linton, there wasn't loads of options to make changes, and if Eddie Howe was confident that these guys have just come off the back of, you know, for me, you know, the best atmosphere I've ever had at St James's Park, possibly the best Newcastle match I've ever seen in my lifetime, you know, these guys are going to have a big boost. Get them out there, throw them out there, ride that high, and we'll do what we can do at West Ham. Them score first, just, I think, as I say, just totally changed the complexion of the game, and whether it was that we had a bit of a Champions League hangover, a little bit of fatigue, you know, not enough changes coming to that side, you know, but it's still early in the season, you know, it is still early, and as much as they're playing a lot of games at the moment, these are fit blokes who, you know, train and know what they're doing. So I wasn't questioning the lineup in the lineup. It was more as the game went on, I'm thinking, could we have maybe done a little bit more to try and reserve some of these players? I think the one takeaway from the first half was that Bruno didn't get sent off, to be honest, because he was riding that line pretty fine, to be honest. 2 challenges that for me really, you know, you tell me down below, but yeah, I was happy that Bruno did not get taken off for that second challenge. Really, he's pulled the man down who's running towards the goal with with nowhere near the ball, really. So, yeah, first off, we are 1-0 down, but it is just one. Bruno's still on the pitch, and we do have the likes of a Callum Wilson on the bench. You know, we did have some options to make going in the second half, and we've seen it plenty of times before with Newcastle in that we can sometimes have these chalk and cheese halves in a game. And we did come out much better in the second half. When we did get the ball, we were progressing the ball better. We were really hot on their heels. And who steps up but Mr. Isak? Free kick rewarded to us. Great ball from Trippier. Great assist from the West Ham player who heads it back across his own box. And Callum Wilson, Isak with a very tidy finish. There was question marks throughout the game with, is Isak better to play up front? Is he better on the left? Eddie Howe changed it a couple of times where he was out on the left, because Isak is a tremendous player. And I actually thought going into the second half, we would have put Wilson on. Put Wilson on and put Isak on the left. Isak is a player who needs to play with the ball in front of him. As a striker, you have times like look at Wilson, look at Haaland. You know, they don't have loads of the ball. They just score when they're needed. And look, Isak did that today, but I do like him on the left. And, you know, maybe he proved me wrong in the second half when he scored his 2 goals, but I'm thinking second half, get Wilson on, get Isak on the left. Well, you know, Eddie Howe and Isak proved me wrong because we didn't need to. Isak gets a great collection from that corner, puts it in the back of the net. I'm thinking 1-1. And, you know, at that moment, I talk about the complexion of the game, the game of two halves. It started to change straight away because West Ham have now gone from winning 1-0, we'll just defend and let them have all of the ball, to now, hang on a second, we can't just sit here anymore. We are going to have to start trying to get into this game a little bit more. And thankfully for us, this is the thing, West Ham are down the other side of the pitch. You know, they had a chance very, very quickly after that we turned around and basically took them on the break. You know, that West Ham team who weren't really going for it at that moment because they didn't need to. Now, 1-1, they've got to get out the blocks. And this is the thing for Newcastle is we will play these sides a lot as we continue to progress. And it's not like West Ham aren't a good side. West Ham are a very good side. They just had our number. They knew how best to treat that game. And I don't think it was a park the bus in a sense. It was just they knew what would work. And, you know, for a lot of the game, it did work. But the moment they had to start coming out was really playing into our hands. That's what we wanted from minute 1, but because of the sloppy goal that we lost, we didn't have it. On the break, down the right, ball across the box from Kieran Trippier, coolest man in the stadium, Mr. Isak. Nice little side foot, bottom corner, 2-1. The crowd goes wild. At that point, we've got all the ball still, and all the ball all game, we've got all the ball still, but now West Ham can't just stand and let us attack them. They have to press us, get the ball back off us. I felt like our confidence rose. You talk about taking that massive buzz from Champions League on Wednesday, probably a little bit mentally fatigued, probably physically fatigued, but still with a big bounce. And I think if we'd scored early in that game, and we'll see that a lot with our side, is I think confidence can play a big factor in our team performance. You see it with Bruno a lot. I think you see it in Tonali as well. If we got an early goal, that boom from Wednesday against PSG takes us to the moon. But because we conceded early, it's almost like got to get into it here. And that's the thing, when we got the 2 goals, it totally switched. The confidence was back. Bruno was on the ball. He's turning around players. You know, Tonali's putting the press on players. I think that was a big positive I saw in the second half, was like them two working well together. That's been a big conversation for a long time, is can we get Tonali and Bruno working together? I think we saw it in periods today, not all the time. I think there's still some work to be done there, but I thought they did well. And at 2-1, yeah, we're riding the high. We've got all the ball. You know, we're waiting to see, can we get another? Really, we had it all. We're progressing the ball nicely until we weren't. Until West Ham, you know, really took their moment when they could get down that right hand side on the wing with some pace, put it back across the centre of our 18-yard box, and we're nowhere near him. to be honest, it was at Tonali's, man. I'll have to watch it back. But regardless, there's players standing there and there's nobody on him. And to be fair, this is the guy, I think it was his first ever Premier League goal. Smashes it bottom corner, and then for the last 6 minutes of the game, it was West Ham again. It was total ups and downs throughout the game, and I think that's one thing we need to try and manage. To come out and be a bit slow off the mark in the first half, and then totally come out with a bang in the second for 15, 20 minutes. We should be that 15, 20 minutes all the time. But as I say, to really be playing the same team, bar one player from Wednesday night, was that enough time for a break? Is it the injuries that we couldn't change it? Was Eddie Howe happy that it was fine without it? There's some negatives, there's some positives today. And as I say, going in there, if you'd offered me the draw before it started, to top off what has been a fantastic run of 5 or 6 games, won 5, drawn 1 against AC Milan away. It hasn't been too bad, and to beat PSG the other day as well was incredible. It would have been nice for 3 points today against the West Ham side, who are a good team and will be up and around at the end of the season with us. I've no doubt. It would have been better to not concede with 1 minute to go, but as I say, you take the rough with the smooth, and we've had a lot of smooth recently. Just a bit of a poor end to that game. So yeah, let me know your thoughts down below on everything we've talked about today, the positives, the negatives, as we go to an international break. As I say, the good thing for the international break, and this is the thing, I suppose, Longstaff not getting picked for England, a few players, there was Nick Pope as well, is a chance for them to have 2 weeks off and have a chill. I've no doubt they would want to play in their international sides, but really the likes of Bruno, Joe Linton all being away or whatever. Well, Joe Linton's injured, but yeah, players going away, really I'd like to have them all here for 2 weeks for a break and a bit of light training, but I'm sure Eddie Howe will definitely be using this time to his advantage as we get back, and very quickly it's Dortmund at home and with some more tough games. So don't like, subscribe, let me know your thoughts on the game down below. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, guys. Plenty more videos to come throughout the week, despite it being the international break, before we get back at it. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.